दोस्तों, अगर आपको वीडियो पसंद आया तो सब्सक्राइब करें, बेल आइकन दबाएं ताकि आपको नए वीडियोस की जानकारी मिलती रहे। धन्यवाद।
A very warm welcome on behalf of Vcaninspire. I am Dr. Shivram Krishnan. This is the second part of the video on online teaching. In the first part, we talked about sharing content. The first thing that online teaching class should do is share content. What kind of content to be shared? Here we shall talk a little more elaborately about that. We shall also here like to show what other things could be done. So sharing content means share a flowchart, share a model. It can be in text or it can be pictorially done. So subjects like sociology or subjects like biology can be pictorially done a lot. Subjects like commerce or topics in commerce could be done in terms of text, flowchart in terms of text. Then these could be followed by a lot of examples. Now, several subjects, the subject itself may be an example, the topic itself may be an example. In case of other subjects like commerce, etc., or business, etc., there could be examples from whatever we see around us and whatever the learner can see. These examples must relate to the learner. Not alien to the learner. If it is alien to the learner, if the learner has not seen these examples, it should be brought up pictorially, or in some way the learner should be acclimatized or accustomed to the examples. Now, the facts and definitions also could be shared. This could be written down in a serial order, one definition following the other, so that each definition has some relation with the previous definition. Each term has a relationship with the previous term, and therefore it has an entire cycle in terms of approach of that topic, or what that topic or subject can cover. Now, we showed a flowchart of commerce. Here again we show the flowchart so that one can see what are the elements in the flowchart, what questions arise while looking at the flowchart. So some questions can be given to the learner. Let the learner raise the other questions. So there can be questions within questions. So a training has to be given to the learner how the learner can raise questions. Normally when we raise questions, we use 6 types of W, what, why, when, where, how, and then who. Then we also have how. So these are the words by which questions are raised, the W question and the W word and the H word. Now, we shall show the same flowchart here of commerce. Right? Let's see. You see the elements here. In commerce, it has boxes. The boxes show what? Exchange, how, who assist, and a cycle of exchange. You can watch it properly. Take your time. Now let us see the examples which could be shared, right, on the same basis as the flowchart of commerce is. Let us see these examples. Now you notice that in these examples, you have seen in for exchange, for the box exchange, you have rice, wheat, you can have flour or bread or butter. You can see all these things. Then you see how. So how has transport and ATM and cash. So what is transport? You will see the example truck or road or ship, rail. All these are examples. And then you have Paytm, ATM. These are examples of cash. The examples of bank, obviously the State Bank of India, etc. are examples of bank. Then the example of courier, you can see speed post or other DLF couriers, etc. Right? Yeah. Now, you see who assists in commerce. So the examples are Everest or Mudra, etc. And then you have, as I said, the banks, the modern banks are Bharat Bank or Kotak Mahindra. These are financial institutions. Then you have the Gati as one of the biggest transporters in India is Gati. Now, why these examples? These examples allow the learner to go to the websites, to go to the Google and search and find out more and more about them. And these examples will fill the learner with a lot of curiosity and with a lot of application, etc. Then let's take a cycle of exchange. Let's take tomato sauce, for instance, and tomato sauce manufactured by Hindustan Lever. So anybody who has seen a tomato sauce in one's house, one can see the label and find out who manufactures, what are the ingredients, etc. Now in the cycle of exchange or in the making of tomato sauce, what are broadly involved? The growth of tomatoes. So agriculture is brought in, or even in the beginning, seeds of tomato, fertilizer, cultivation, and tilling of land. All these are involved. So all these are partners in the process of the cultivation of tomato. Then these tomatoes are sold from the market, from the field. They are sold to the manufacturer, or they are sold to wholesalers, and the wholesalers take them to the manufacturer, and so on. Then the manufacturer uses different processes for manufacturing of tomato sauce. Then the manufacturer uses various other intermediaries to transport the tomato sauce up to the retailer. Then it comes from the retailer to the final consumer, right? So you notice that all these can raise a number of questions in the mind of the learner. And that is how the learner interacts, exchanges with the tutor or with the trainer or with the instructor or with the teacher. Right? So teacher can become an instructor, can become a trainer, can become a mentor. And so you can keep the learner engaged with all these. Now, what are the facts and definitions that could be shared in the same, if you follow the same topic, commerce? Now, the definitions could be what is commerce, the definition of commerce, the definition of trade, the definition of exchange, and so on. So there could be a series of definition or a cycle of definition which cover the entire subject of the topic. Right? Now let's come to the part of how the learner could be evaluated. One of the ways of evaluation is the learner asking questions. If the learner is asking questions and the tutor knows who is the learner could evaluate on that basis. The tutor could ask questions and see who responds to it. Now please remember that the response would be more and more if facts are shared, if definitions are shared, if the part of the textbook which is to be read are indicated, examples are shared. So the more examples are shared, the learner will go and see in the Google more about those examples. That way one can keep the learner engaged too and see how much the learner is taking an effort to self-study. This is an important part. If there is a textbook, the tutor could raise questions based on each paragraph. That also could be indicated to the learner. Each paragraph of a particular chapter would have several questions, and these questions should be indicated, or the learner can oneself, raise those questions while the lesson is being imparted. Right? Okay. How can the evaluation be done? One can use multiple choice questions, or one can use other types of learning, evaluation methodologies. Not necessarily questions and answers. It could be assignments, it could be project work. So the learner could be given project work where the learner maybe submits a model, maybe the learner submits the text answers. The tutor could evaluate and could maybe discuss also some of the aspects of evaluation with the learner. That could be a self-evaluation method also, especially in case of objective question. There could be self-evaluative method also. There could also be self-evaluative methods for other types of questions which can be given. Now, friends, this was therefore the second part of the online teaching video. We shall come up with the third part as and when there are also questions and doubts raised by our viewers on online teaching. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope this video has been of some use to you. Thank you. Take care.